Mic check, 1, 2.
Tom, use your word.
Hey, you.
That's original freedom.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Original Freedom Podcast. It's awesome to be back today. We've got me, Nate, and today on location, apparently we have Bear, the pup as well. Come on up, buddy. And what we're going to talk about today is something that I came across whenever I was consulting a few years back. And the topic is the art of making a lasting impression. It's the one thing that I know that I have always tried to do or wanted to do, and that be a positive lasting impression. And well, it's very easy to make a negative lasting impression. Yet how to predictably make a good positive lasting impression on people, whether I'm trying to sell something, whether I'm just in a relationship or a friendship and communication, is how when I walk away do the other people perceive me, not from a desire of wanting to be liked, but more so from the desire to make a lasting impression. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And there's tons of schools out there that teach people how to sell, how to talk, how to rebut. Yet what I believe is there's not a lot of people talking about the true reality in and around what will always make a lasting impression. And we'll get to the punchline, yet it's human authenticity is the guarantee. And what I'd like to do is tell the story in and around how I got to that, and then share that journey, and then hopefully give the listeners something else in their toolbox to use just as they walk through life in any aspect. Yet if you're in sales, you damn sure need to listen. Because this is the one place that no doubt the competition is super heavy, and the only way to get attention is to be novel, because humans are attracted to novelty. And I'll let you guide me from there, because I'm not real good at staying on track.
Well, I'll build off of the last thing you said too, because what I don't know if you wanted to put yourself in that much of a definition of saying that it's the only thing. I think if you're going to come at it from a sales perspective, having kind of been part of that world for a minute, I think it's the thing that can keep you, can trump all the things that are part of kind of your offering as well. Like
Differentiator?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get into the granular nature of like what comes down to like price or offerings or that kind of thing, if there's someone, I think it's more so even more evident in the retention of your service to continue working with you or something like that too, is like not only just from the first sales sit down and meet and get them to sign type of thing. To your point, there's always going to be competition. There's always going to be someone trying to undercut you and that kind of thing. Being authentic, being yourself, being someone that is more than just your scripted rebuttals and that kind of stuff. Like that's where that impression, in my personal experience, is huge. To be able to work with someone on a human level. Speak to that a little bit. I mean, you mentioned that you were going to tell your story as far as like how you got to this path. So how is it that you got there?
Yeah, because I'm not quote unquote in sales, never have been. And I was consulting to a company for a few years, running a future leadership program, developing future leaders in and around how to expand the footprint of their company across the nation. And so my primary focus was to train and develop future leaders. And no one ever thought to go to Scott for sales training because, well, that didn't make sense. Yet I always giggled when people told me I wasn't in sales because I was a one-man company for so many years. It's like I've made and sold every damn deal I have. So I know something about sales. And I started paying attention in concert with doing the leadership training, which was heavily focused on personal vulnerability, authenticity from a leadership perspective. And then I started paying attention to, I was at a sales conference and started listening and learning to how they were teaching their salespeople to sell. And of course, there's the standard pitch lines, like you said, the rebuttal pieces, and then the biggest thing that all salespeople are known to have is a slush fund for entertainment. right? To go make people feel good. And that was the one thing that I saw people yelling for was like, hey, we need more budget to be able to take people out to more dinners, buy more drinks, go to more football games, whatever it was. And they had actually brought a consultant in to talk about customer service and hospitality. And he was focused on the right thing. He was focused on the feelings. And then I had an idea one day, which was, what does it take to make an impression on these people? And then, even though it was outside the purview of what I was there to do, I'm a guy that if I see something I think I can help with, I want to help. So I started thinking about it. It's like, how do I make an impression? How can I help these salespeople make an impression, whether it be on the first call or continually? Mm-hmm. And this actually wormholes a bit, yet it's very important into human emotion, period. So we're here to feel, my belief. Humans are here to feel. We like to feel good, and the only way we get to feel good is to at some point have felt bad, and then we know what it feels like to really feel good. And I won't go down that rabbit hole. But for me, I'm visual, and if I'm going to try to teach something, I have to be able to do that. So I looked at it and I said, human beings, if I arrive here as a ball of clay, a sphere of clay that on the outside is really soft, but if you were to push into it, you're going to get resistance. The density is going to increase and it's going to get harder. So let's just say, now let's make this make sense. We all come into this world however we get here. No one chose. Yet our beliefs come to us and we are impressed upon through what? Feelings, emotions, and experience. So either have a positive impression or a negative impression. And for example, the impression and the feeling of the first love. So whether it's the boyfriend, the girlfriend, whatever it is, comes to me and impresses, this is what love feels like. This is what it's, and I'm like, boom. Moving forward, unless someone else can make me feel more, better, or different than that, you're not going to get me. Because to me, that's what that is. So fast forward, sales. So then it hit me. I was like, these salespeople are showing up. Primarily cold calls or first meetings are the hardest, right? The easier to maintain a relationship than it is to start it in that world. Because here's why. It hit me. It's like, these salespeople are going on these calls, and there's two key factors they don't know. The first one is they don't know what the other company's salespeople, who they were, or what they did before them. For example, so if you worked for a competitor and I didn't know you had been calling on the same client and you had bought them Cubs tickets somehow, or you were able to make an impression upon them that was massive. When I show up, if I try to pull some of the same tricks, or if I come up with a dinner out, but you just got Cubs ticket offered, how am I going to impress you with that? You've already had something else. So if I can't outspend my competition, I'm screwed. I can't do anything with that. The other and more important factor is these people do not understand the person they're meeting, and that they don't know that person, what shaped them, how they grew up, where they grew up, what they believe, why they believe it. And so to presume anything is to roll the dice. Like, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to open my line of X, Y, or Z. Well, for all they know, this person hates that. And so there's two variables that set most of them up, I believe, for not high probability of success. So how to then, it's like, because then that person's already been impressed. So using that model, I didn't take it much further than that, and really no one wanted to listen to me, I don't think, because I wasn't a sales trainer. And I've just taken that model and thought about it even further because I believe in it truly, for my own life. Because there's been times when I find that I was very hard to impress, not from an arrogant standpoint. It's like, no, I've done X, Y, and Z. I know how that feels. So to impress me, it's going to have to be something either, let's say my highest jumps from 25,000 feet many years ago. I would have to go to 26,000 to be impressed by a jump for me. Or for someone else, it's not disrespectful. It's like, I've done that. So everything in life for me now is I see myself, so this sphere of clay just keeps growing because I have to have room for new impressions. To put a bow on that, what I found out is that the predictability of my ability or anyone else to impress another human being is actually pretty low if I go at it from a place of material, personality, or looks, which is the three things that people are using to sell. Their personality, their charm, their wit, their looks, if they're considered to be what is good looking in our society from that socialistic standpoint, not a humanistic standpoint, and money, stuff. And it hit me. I'm like, that's shitty odds. Like, I don't like the way that is. Fast forward into what I primarily teach and talk about, which is human authenticity, personal authenticity. And one day I made a statement that I believe now is that the most valuable thing in the world that can't be bought is personal authenticity. And why it's valuable is it's seen, it's felt, and lastly, it's the only true guaranteed novel thing. For me to be authentic in who I am means that I speak my truth from my inside all the way out without twisting it to sugarcoat it, to make it sound anything other than what it is I believe, what I stand for, and who I am, first and foremost. Second, the other part is if I don't know what other people want, need, if they like, dislike, my job is to get to know them. It's not to sell to them. And true to form now, over and over again, whether people like a human or dislike a human that is being authentic, the one thing I know is they remember that human. Mm-hmm. And it's because of the things that our moms, grandmoms, grandpas, and everything else told us. They said, you're unique. And then we have scientific data that says there's no two thumbprints on the face of this planet alike. There's no two snowflakes on the face of this planet alike. So with these facts in place, that means if I'm just me, it is an absolute impossibility for anyone else to have been that. Therefore, I am guaranteed to make an impression upon you based merely on my being me, which will be novel to you because you've never seen it. Because I'm not trying to imitate anyone else. I'm not trying to get ahead of the fact that I got on Facebook and saw you're a Cubs fan. And the minute I ask you a Cubs question, in the back of your mind, you're going to be like, you're on my Facebook page. Weak shit. It's a fact. Like I watch this, like do this research, and I'm not saying that's not valid, right? It's always great to have conversation points. But I will tell you, there is nothing more novel to me than a human being themselves, unafraid and pure. Humans are attracted to novelty. Go look at any sales book, anything, and people take that and usually go material with it, like something new. Give them something new, buy them something new, pitch them in a way that's new. Fuck no. Be you, and if you don't know, tell them you don't know. If you want to know what they need, ask them. Let them. That was the whole point. And for me, it took it all the way down to, yes, it's great to have a slush fund and an account to wine and dine people. Yes, it's great to do homework. Yes, it's great to do any and everything that's out there. And what I would say is, before, the most important thing for me, if you want to guarantee, if I want to guarantee that I make an impression on you or anyone else in this world, that all I got to do is be me, because there's no one else out there that's me, and no one else can imitate me. And whether you like me or not, whether you agree with me or not is a whole other subject. But see, that comes down to wanting to be respected more than liked. So going from this impression model from a ball of clay and letting them know, like, hey, you're not going to impress a customer out there that's been beat up by 57 other people by doing the same thing a different way. And I think that's an important thing. Like, doing the same thing a different way is still the same thing with a tweak. Could one say it's novel? Slightly. Yet truly novel is authentic, therefore genuine. And lastly, I would say the reason it works is because humans value that. That I have a built-in something somewhere where I value authenticity, and the reason I do is because as a human I value truth. So I can tell you, for me, if two different people came in to pitch me, and one of them came bearing gifts, and the other one came and bearing their soul, I'm going to listen to the one bearing their soul. I'm going to listen to the one who says to me, I don't know exactly what you need, yet I'd like to help you. I don't know the answer to that question. I'll get back to you. I apologize. Whatever it is, fucking just be real. Mm-hmm. That's what will be valued. Therefore, leave an impression.
Yeah. I go back to the like account management standpoint. Like, that's desirable, like in looking and working with other business owners, and that you want it to be that way, because the minute that maybe you go and get that account, that's now on every other company's radar, so they're going back in to go get it. As you spend more time and you continue to create that bond, that's what makes it that much harder for competition. Of like, yeah, I get you can come in, you can do this price. I get you just added this cool thing to your repertoire, this nice, bright, shiny new thing, but you don't have my guy Scott. Like, you don't have him. You're not him. I don't want to do business with you. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, and I think to your point of like the fact that you yourself can't be replicated, that it is that unique, 1 in 7 billion. I think it's even, you take that a step out, and even the practice of just being authentic with people itself is unique enough, even. Because I feel like in sales that there's this cool thing that we feed to people, that anybody can do it. Just follow this list of things. Just follow this process. This, and this. And in some ways that's true, but unless you have that factor of being yourself, being unique, differentiating yourself in that way, I think you can kind of succeed to a certain level, but I think it's truly limitless if you're able to sell someone on you over whatever else you can buy. And I think that's truly what makes the best salesman too, as far as like those guys or gals that you talk about that can sell ketchup to a woman in white gloves. Like, it doesn't matter.
I've never
like,
heard
it's
that
literally
one.
just say like, hey, like, I can sell anything type of people. Most of the time you wouldn't want to work with somebody that flat out said that to you, but from a standpoint of, it doesn't matter what the product is, it doesn't matter what it, like, that person, just insert product here. I want to work with that person. It doesn't even matter. I don't even know what I just bought. I just want to work with you. I enjoyed my time with you.
Yeah,
I would like to see more.
The old
more
saying
in the
is
future.
people do business with people they like.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
So one of the thoughts I just had was, why doesn't this happen more?
It's hard.
It's hard. It's not hard. Well, it is. It's scary. Being authentic is scary. Actually stating what I believe opens me up to judgment. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm always open to judgment. I'm always being judged in some way by someone. Hell, I'm judging myself. The folks who say, don't judge, it's like, you're an idiot if you don't judge. And meaning for the right reasons. I'm always trying to assess when we interview people, we're judging them for what? Go out on a first date, you're judging. And no doubt the first red flag to me or anyone else that I'm looking for in my judgment is, am I sitting with someone I can trust?
Mm-hmm.
And the no fail way for me to know that is for my ability to establish level of authenticity from the person who's talking to me. Even if I'm judgment like, yeah, this person's not the person to do business with, because they were authentic with me and said X, Y, and Z. It's like, we're not a good partnership. That can be in a personal relationship, that can be in business or selling, and yet what gets in the way of authenticity is fear. And this comes back to the scenario that I was fortunate enough to hear about through a friend, I guess about a year and a half ago, and it stuck with me, and it's part of my mental mantra in life when I myself began to get terrified of being authentic. And that is learning to discern between what is scary and dangerous. And I did a lot of dangerous stuff in my life, and I'm still willing to, don't care to do a whole lot of more of it anymore. And what I figured out was dangerous is easy for most people, because there's either heroism involved in it, or there's no time to think like, this is dangerous, I'm going to go try to save this person's life, or I'm going to go skydive, or I'm going to go do these things that have physical danger. And myself included, that's easy. For a lot of people, that's easy. And even for most, they'll still do stuff that's dangerous before they will do stuff that's scary. And being authentic is scary. Going on the first date, the first sales call, the first meeting, the sitting down, I don't care if it's with someone who asked me how I'm doing today, and truthfully, I'm having a rough day. Do I say I'm great? Or do I say, thanks for asking, and I'm having a pretty rough day? It takes courage just to say that, to admit that, hey, I'm having a rough day, because I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if you're going to ask me, well, sit down and talk to me about it, or if you're going to get weirded out and run away. It's just whether or not did I answer honestly. I'm always impressing, meaning not from I'm impressed. To make an impression is to put that thumbprint in, to take my imprint, literally my thumbprint, my level of authenticity. There's only one me. And how's that affecting the world around me? And so in relationships, period, the same things are going on. I'll speak for myself, and I do believe this is a easy generalization. I am always looking for trustworthy people in my life. I do not want to have people in my life that I can't trust to do what they said they were going to do, to care for me if they said they were going to follow through if we made a business deal, whatever it is. And where lack of authenticity is the absolute way to destroy any chance at going anywhere, or destroy an existing relationship. And it's the minute that I don't admit when I'm wrong. I don't admit my service didn't do what it was going to say, and what can I do to make it right? Once I begin to sidestep what someone calls me out on, I begin to erode our level of trust. And it's because I am not acting authentically. I'm not telling the truth, because the truth is I made a mistake. And all I'd have to do in that moment is say that. Ask forgiveness, figure out and ask what I can do to make it right, and be willing, even if this person breaks up with me, fires me, drops the account, whatever it is, I speak for myself here, I have to be willing to potentially lose that stuff through this act of authenticity, of an admission in our relationship that I failed to do what it is I said I was going to do, or something else. And ironically enough, 9 out of 10 times, my life experience, if I do just that, I get a thank you. This is what you can do to make it right. And the relationship is stronger because that is so rare, because what humans are used to, for the most part, is people bullshitting them, lying to them when they make mistakes. And people, myself included, I would rather stay in a relationship with someone who has the ability to be authentic when they're wrong versus venturing out and trying to start another relationship. That is the power of personal authenticity and the ability, because that's novel. And I have to go back and give credit to, I mean, that's one of the earliest trainings in the military. Own it. As a young private, I figured out by watching as well, if another buddy of mine got busted doing something he shouldn't have been doing, whether it was chewing gum, putting his hands in his pockets or something stupid back then, and tried to get out of it and tried to give an excuse or a reason for it, they just dive into that ass. And so I figured it out real young. It's like, absolutely, did it. It was me. And disarming. Yeah, they might come smoke me or yell at me for a second, but it will be over. And that's also, if one has a model, me included, of just constantly saying, I'm sorry, well, that doesn't work either. Right? It's the extremes anywhere. Yet to authentically deliver my truth when times are good and authentically deliver my truth whenever I screw up, right? All of these things are what are genuinely novel, made a fact by the majority of society doesn't do that. Mm-hmm. And so in all situations, the novelest thing I can do is just admit my truth. And sometimes admitting the truth is I have tons of experience in that. And so I'm going to talk about that with conviction and authority. And you're not, the only way you're going to convince me otherwise is if you bring me more life experience, because now we're talking about something I have experience in. That said, same thing, you bring up a topic that I know nothing about, and me to, instead of saying, holy shit, they didn't teach me what to do in this situation, so I'm going to throw some bullshit out, versus saying, I've never done that, and I have no clue what it is you just said. Can you please explain that to me? And wow, human nature takes over again, because now you feel important and valued, and you'll educate me, versus me being too afraid of you judging me for not knowing something. Now, I just showed you that I'm willing to tell you when I don't know something. These are small, small things, yet the impact that they have, the impression that they leave, whether you get the job, get the girl guy, doesn't matter. The impression will still be there until someone else just like you does that, which is an impossibility. So that's a pretty cool tool to me, as far as I have the ultimate tool in my arsenal to leave a lasting impression on this world if I choose to have the courage to live authentically when times are bad, when I'm wrong, more so than any. The other way, guaranteed, works when it's good. Yet, whenever I have managed to face my fears of the scariest shit in life, you and I personally have had this happen to us, telling the truth is relieving. There's no skeletons in the closet. There's no lies to remember. And if I lose, I lose, but I sleep well at night. And for me, that's more important than getting anything, be it a sale, a deal, or anything else. That's just it. To walk free of the guilt and shame that comes with bullshitting people knowing I'm bullshitting them, which I don't.
Yeah, I think in addition to the sales and relationships and the sales being more of a business to business setup, I think that's huge from a marketing standpoint too. If as a business owner, the same is true with as far as differentiation goes. Being able to tell, I think the most differentiating thing between capitalistic market of whoever wants to start a business they can is being able to know who that is. What's the story behind the business? Like what is the authenticity of this business, of this owner, of these people that work there? What is the culture? I think that's the biggest thing in talking with other companies, and that is like, if I'm a consumer and I want to pick between product A and product B, what do those things stand for? Who are the people behind that? What's the story of how it got to be? I think like much like from a sales rep to client, it's the same as far as a business to consumer and general public. So I think that was important to hit on too, on the authenticity talk, that it's consistent across everything, much like you said.
We're going through a transition right now, like socially, as it relates to what you just talked about in sales and marketing. And the transition that we're going through is from the old way of selling into authentic demonstrations of who companies are, who people are, what they stand for, what they believe in, why. Well, back to, you can't, for me anyway, one thing that, and you know this about me, people will just throw out a stat or a data or a fact without addressing everything else in and around that data, stat, or fact that contributed to it. And where I'm going with this is traditional salespeople, especially from years ago, have been taught to prey on the weakness of the fear-based operating system that humans have, use fear. It's all strategic in and around that emotion, right? It's usually based in negative because negative is more impactful. All these basic psychology 101 things. Unfortunately, some of it still works. Yet, it's getting more difficult. And the transition is that mindset, that era of salespeople is either physically or metaphorically dying off. And the reason being, I believe, is the rate at which we now are communicating and consuming data and facts, and or could be facts. It's literally unless you're a human being that decided not to engage in the internet and social media 15 years ago, it's out there, and people will find out whatever it is. And so the mold of the fast talking salesperson, and make sure you got all your rebuttals, and make sure you smile every time, and make sure you're like, is fading away. And now people are kicking and screaming. The older generation is. We've had a personal experience with this where we've hired and spent a lot of money on folks to come help us. And of course, I almost end up going at it massively with one, because it's like, dude, I'm not like you. I don't smile all the time. I don't choose to prey on people's weaknesses and insecurities to sell something. And no, I'm not going to do that. And to him, you're wrong in this situation. Because see, people will see through me being inauthentic, because it's painful for me to say, I know how you feel. I know how you feel out there. You've been in the shitter. Life's been tough and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, I tried because you saw it. And the reason I tried is because I'm a willing student. And if I pay someone a shitload of money, I should be able to listen to them. And in this case, it was an expensive education, as we well know, because I'm like, there's no way. I'm not going to compromise who I am. And I think that a lot of times people, in the past, I have too. I've compromised who I am. Meaning I've lived outside my own standards of conduct. And when I live outside my own standards of conduct, no one else suffers but me. And that could be as minuscule as like, I've always hated fucking being pitched, being sold to, being sleazed up. And because of that, and hilariously enough, most people hate it, yet there are those who will go do it. It's like, why would you do something that you yourself don't like? And I put that on myself. Why would I do something that I know I don't like? And then because of my personal journey and career in consulting, in which authenticity is everything. And this was just another case of it's here again. This isn't a question of sales. This is a question of making an impression through a novel way. And for me, the only way that I could tell you you're guaranteed or I'm guaranteed to go do that is to go sit down with someone and be utterly authentic. Whether I showed up with a checkbook or not, I know, and I've proven it, it works. And it really works in the moments of absolute terror or fear. This is the most important time it works. Scary times. When I dive off into that deep water of, hey, I made a mistake. This is what I'm going to do to fix it. Or whatever the admission is and the ownership of how I'm going to do my best to fix it. I have yet to have anyone tell me, get the hell out of their office. I can't believe that happened. Mm-hmm. Every time it's like, because it's disarmed. It's like, hey, now if you want to yell at me about it or whatever, get it out of your system. If you want to fire me, go ahead. If you, whatever it is, but I have nothing else to say to you. And 99.9% of the time, the other person's like, wow, yeah, let's work on that. Like, cause they're so used to being able to just go, cause they're used to hearing excuses. And so this novel effect of personal authenticity is like gravity. It can't be fought. It can't be undone. It always exists. And imitators and bullshitters are known by all of us. And authenticity is seen and felt by all of us the minute we're in the room with it. And whether I like the person or not, I can trust them because they're gonna, if this person's a total asshole all the time and they will explain why and it's worked for them, it's like predictable. And I'm not going to go do business, but at least they gave me the opportunity to make that judgment through their authenticity. Conversely, someone comes in, blows my mind in a positive way, like that was as real as it gets. Boom, I'm going there. And I started out my career in consulting and speaking, and one of the first things that blew my mind whenever I would speak was, and this is 9 years ago, I spoke here in Raleigh actually at a leadership seminar. And I was way, not that I'm a polished guy, but let's just say I was lacking a lot of polish back then, straight out of the military. And I was scared to death because I'm in front of business people talking about things that I knew about, but had nothing to do about how was I going to be accepted. Scared to death of how these people, they were going to think of me. And immediately what happened and what has continuously happened over the years is someone walked up and was like, that was awesome. It was amazing. And I was like, why? It's like, you're just real, man. Like, it's just nice to have someone come in here and be who they are, not bullshit us, not be some academia-based, statistic-based, hey, this is a guaranteed way. Like, you were just real. That's all I kept hearing. You were just real. And nothing else has changed. Now, hopefully the products I'm delivering are good as well. But the key factor, as you well know, is like having success without a business plan, without a website at times. People are like, how? It's like, I've just been me. Mm-hmm. And there's only one me. And trust me, not everybody likes me. I don't want them to. Because if they do, that means I am bullshitting someone, because that means I stand for nothing. So learning to be okay with that as well. It's like, oh, I didn't get the sale. Why? Well, because we're not a good fit. And you know what? That's smarter than going into business with someone or, hey, didn't end up with the relationship I wanted. How did I get there? It's because I was authentic in conversation. He or she was authentic in conversation. And we decided, you know what? Whether it's business or romantic, doesn't matter. It's not the right fit. And in my experience, it is much better to walk away from what appears to be a near-term gain well, not appears to be, what would be a near-term gain, to know it's gonna go sideways at some point soon, because I have violated my own integrity in this process of communicating, be it in sales, love, with my kids, whatever it is. It's best to walk away from a little win for the right reasons of incompatibility because of the novelty expressed, versus let's bullshit each other, make the sale knowing, or get in the relationship knowing with, hey, I got a non-negotiable, but you're so hot I'm going to break it. It's like, no, I know I don't put up with X, Y, and Z. And so there I am a few months later, pissed off, and it's like, well, I speak to myself, you knew that. You ignored it, Scott. So now here you are. So the price of not being authentic, to me, comes to my pain. My pain, 100%, is because I'm incongruent with my own beliefs and standards. And so being authentic helps keep me out of trouble as well. When I say to someone, I don't care what situation is, this is who I am, this is what I have to offer. If you desire to have that, awesome. If you think it's better somewhere else, please make sure you do that, because the last thing I want is you or anyone else in a relationship with me out of any sort of dependency and not desire. And when I have people in my life, be it in business, personal, romantic, friendships, that desire to be around me, that is a life that is fucking rich, because they care. That's what authenticity to me gets us. It's what it gets me. It's got me kicked out of a couple rooms over the years as well. And that's okay. I wasn't mad about it. That's the other thing. If you're out there and like, hey, living authentic is not easy either. It's difficult at times. It's painful at times. It's painful to walk away from a business deal. It's painful to walk away from an existing relationship that I know is going no, so on and so forth. Painful. Yet it's not suffering. Suffering, on the other hand, is settling, lying just a little bit to make this, taking my standards and bending them a little bit just so I can stay. All these littles are not little. They're massively painful and destructive at the soul level of the human that is living inauthentic, because we all have a built-in bullshit detector for ourselves and for others. Others, maybe there's some really good people out there that can bullshit others, yet even those people can't bullshit themselves. These are, like I said, it's like gravity. If I say I am a person that believes in XYZ, or a salesperson that does an XYZ, and I do that, I have violated my own rules. It has nothing to do with man's law, the U.S. government, or anything else. That's a human soul violation. And I will pay in pain until I either change my behavior or go rectify the bullshit I'm throwing out, whether it be in my product or my word.
Strong.
Apparently I have some passion around it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cool. It's interesting that we have, this type of episode talking about the people we work with, the companies we work with, the companies we buy from, that kind of thing. Being that, we have an announcement too, that we're partnering with a company now that goes in line with a lot of the things that we're about, that make a product that we've gotten to use for a little bit, and have had a lot of good things to say, and that being Sterling Oils.
Yeah, one of the things at Original Freedom we decided when we kicked it off was that at some point in the future we wanted to align with brands that represented similar, same ideals about in and around creating more powerful humans. And, powerful being mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, humans to be at choice in all these areas to do what needs to be done to help themselves. And I myself have always been into alternative types of medicine, everything from acupuncture, Chinese medicine, herbs, you name it, I've been willing to try it. And the product that the line that Sterling Oils is developing it's a CBD based company. It's based here in North Carolina. It's 100% THC free, third party tested, comes from a pure grower. We've known this, Joe, I've known him for many years. And to your point, vetted out the product and consumed the product. I myself have been on taking the Sterling Oils liquid form before I left California, 5-6 months, I guess. And right now, that's the only product I've used yet. We're starting to use the sleep product, the multivitamin, and the creams. Yeah. These products are authentic in that they're pure. Yep. They are healthy and they deliver results. I have been able to all but get off of my fibromyalgia medicine for body pain and joint pain. Overall, just feeling better just from the liquid. That said, our partnership with Sterling Oils is 100% that. We are not a marketing podcast. We had no intention of selling space. Our desire was to do what we're doing. And so we look forward to rolling out more in and around this story, at some point getting Joe here on the podcast to talk about the health benefits of CBD, right? It's a trend, so to speak, right now, yet I would have, don't get caught up in the hoopla. And just like any product, there is every range of quality, and this is top right. It's high quality. It's not the stuff you're going to find at a gas station. It's not cheap, and it's super effective. Run by a small business owner who is a great human being who cares about every aspect of it and has done the due diligence and has been in this business for over a decade, out in California and here in North Carolina now. And his purpose is to help other people have better health. This is the first partnership, and we hope of many, of brands that are in the business of positive impact on human lifestyle, on human health, doing it responsibly, making sure that the product's effective and transparent in all aspects. So Sterling Oils is our brand for CBD, THC-free, available online. And for our podcast listeners, we're able to offer a 15% discount for any and all products at Sterling Oils.
Yeah, so everyone can access Sterling Oils from sterlingoils.com. That's spelled STIRLING oils.com. And then at the end, once you fill up your cart and all that, they'll have a coupon code option before you check out. You're going to put in OGFree15. OGFree15, and you're going to get 15% off your purchase. To your point of high quality, I also believe that they're very competitively priced, everything out, just as far as what I've bought in the past and that kind of stuff too, and get that added 15% off just for being an Original Freedom podcast listener. Also, they do 20% off for all veterans and first responders, active duty as well. So. Cool for anyone else that's listening out there that falls into that category. You get 20% off your order out there too. They just have a nice little email system where you'll send in your details to them, and then you'll get all set up. So pretty cool company that they do that. And if not, you've got 15% to take off too.
There you go. So sterlingoils.com, and the spelling on that, STIRLING. STIRLING, oils.com. Throw in the code OGFree15. If you're a veteran or first responder, go through their process and get your 20. More about that as we move forward.
Definitely.
And lastly, I do want to encourage everyone to go back and check out episode 30 of our podcast, because it is all about raising money to help fund all the travel expenses needed for Brain Treatment Center to be able to deliver the free brain treatment to the Spec Ops veterans out there. It's something we're going to continue to push. We don't have enough money raised right now. If you go to ogfree.com/BTC, there's a place to go in, link to SOCF, where you can donate to help these veterans be able to have the travel to get their families out there with them to visit them. It's a long treatment. Please check out episode 30, and or if you just want to donate and help that cause, ogfree.com/BTC. Follow the directions there. So we talked about an awesome lot of stuff today. I've enjoyed it tremendously. Something we have a lot of passion around, in and around personal authenticity, and it is the guaranteed way to make a lasting impression. Just be you. Have the courage to be who you are, to speak what it is you believe, and then to stand in that truth regardless of consequence, because what you will gain always is the respect of other humans, and you will be liked by many more. Until we meet again, super grateful for all the support that everyone has given us since the beginning. Our numbers continue to grow. It impresses me each day. Great thanks to Nate for all the hard work you do here, man. And remember, your truth's your truth. Let no one else get in the way of it. Have the courage to walk it and do it unfucking apologetically. Have a good one. We're out.